Thanks for joining me in West Cilrhedyn in Pembrokeshire as I go for an interesting circular walk. I'm making two videos about the walk. This one's just about the route and the things we see on the walk. The second will be about the history and the story of the people who lived here in the past. We walk down the bridle path to Dyffryn. The sunken lane is lined with beech trees and we can see views from the farm gates. There is a track leading off the main path, but we stay on it, going down the hill. This part of the track is dry, but it won't stay that way for long. A lot of water comes down towards the River Pedran at the bottom, and it starts here. There are old walls lining the road. They're made of stones put vertically. They've been here a long time, so long that this beech tree has engulfed them. Now we're approaching the mansion of Dyffryn. This was once the rector's house, and this path led to the church. Although it's still marked as a footpath on the map, I don't believe it's fully accessible. I haven't tried it, but I don't think it goes all the way to the church anymore. We follow the path past the house, keeping the house on the right, and soon we see the farm buildings, and the way markers point us past the farm buildings and down the track. From this point it gets wetter and wetter. Springs seem to appear from everywhere. If you're doing this walk, I strongly recommend you wear waterproof boots because you are going to get very wet feet otherwise. We continue down the path and soon we see the start of the valley of the River Pedran with a stream flowing down the bottom, and on the right there's a ruined cottage. I'm going to talk more about this in the next video about the Cwmpedran area. We go through an old gateway, gate post covered in moss, and its twin lying on its back in the mud. That stream is racing down the hill to join the Pedran, past the ruins of another old cottage, and down to the Pedran Bridge. The road over the bridge once led to Llanfernach village. It is now a footpath. We're going to backtrack now and go back to the ruined cottage and then up past it, keeping it on our right, and up the track up the hill. As we go up the track, the Pedran flows to the right. The track is surrounded by quite wild woodland now and gets steeper and steeper. And when we get to the top, we'll have a breather and a look round at the valley below. Blighted somewhat by a tipped car. The tipped car has been there for quite some time. I don't know why or how it got there, but it really doesn't add anything, does it? With this part of the bridle path, we're now higher up and we can see some nice views. That's the farm of Cwmpedran. This bit of the track tends to be a bit muddy. We reach the junction at Cwmpedran and the road becomes more of a track, more of a hard standing track. And we follow this along for some distance, much easier walking. It's flat and not quite so wet. And in the distance we see a cottage, and at that cottage we meet a junction, and here we go straight on. Now we're on a road, and the road takes us past the farm of Afon. From here we can see some ruined cottages, inhabited now only by cows. And on we go past Afon entrance, along this muddy and wet road until we meet the junction at Cwmpedran farm. Here we're going to turn left. Can't see the farm from here. If you go a little way up the road you can see it, and this is what it looks like. Here we go left towards Cwmpedran, Llanceich and Aberceich, all named Ceich after the river Ceich, which the Pedran flows into. Then the Ceich flows to the Teifi and to the sea. And now we're on the road back to where we started, near that footpath sign at Dyffryn. But before we go, let's stop and look at a few views from the farm gates. Looking into the distance at the wind turbines, it is quite windy up here, the scattered farms and the quiet rolling hills that make up West Cilrhedyn and beyond into Carmarthenshire, because West Cilrhedyn's on the boundary of Carmarthenshire, Pembrokeshire, and just a little further is Ceredigion. We go past a farm. This is Lancome. It was once owned by Dyffryn, and it's time to stop again and look at the view. And we can see the beech trees that line the lane, which is where we started. And here we are back at the start. I hope you enjoyed this walk with me. If you did, please remember to hit the like button. I hope you'll join me again soon. Thanks for watching.